All right, let's see, I want that. I'm going to show you a little video about this Lab 8 that's extra credit, just to kind of show you sort of what I'm wanting. So this first part is just wanting you to identify whether or not it's a metal, a semiconductor, or a non-metal. So I have the periodic table brought up, but it's kind of small. So you just kind of have to look at yours and go with me a little bit on it. So like for the first one, chromium's like right there. So if you look on your chart, and if you've kind of colored it in a little bit, or if you look at the one online that is colored, like on the PowerPoint for chapter 8, you would see that chromium is a metal. So you just write metal. That's it. Mercury is Hg. So right here. So it's a metal. Iodine's over here. It's a non-metal. Okay, that's all you have to do. Literally, that is it for that part of it. Now, on this part, this is where I wish I had a bigger screen. Here, ooh, yeah, I can make it smaller. There we go. Okay, so if you look at carbon on the periodic table, let me erase this stuff. All right, look at carbon on the periodic table. What number is it? It's number 6. So that's the atomic number. But look, these two numbers are the same. And then in order to get the mass number, you just take the protons plus the neutrons. So 6 plus 7 is 13. And that's it. That's all you do for that one. Okay, part 3. So on this one, you really just need to look at, as far as the periodic table, you need to be able to look at, like, for instance, the atomic number is 28. So if you look over here at 28, golly, it's little. That symbol is Ni. That's nickel. And so atomic number and protons and electrons are equal. So that means that there's 28 protons and there's 28 electrons, because it says the atom is neutral, which means that there has to be the same number of protons as electrons. And then in order to find the neutrons, so it's protons plus neutrons is equal to mass number. Well, we're given the mass number. Mass number is 58, and we're trying to find neutrons. So basically, we take mass number minus protons. So 58 minus 28 is 30. Okay? Now for the second one, let's see. That's Xe, which is xenon. So it's number 54. And let's see. So that means that it has how many protons? Well, if its atomic number is 54, then that means it has 54 protons. And that also means that it has 54 electrons. Now, in order to find the mass number, you take the protons plus the neutrons. So 54 plus 76. So 130. Now, I will just tell you, this number right here will not always be what it says on the periodic table for that lower number. Okay, if I zoom into this for xenon, see how xenon is really like 131 on the periodic table? Well, that goes back to isotopes. I don't know if you remember that term from chapter 8, but basically what an isotope is it's an atom that can have different numbers of neutrons. So you've got to go with whatever amount of protons and neutrons there are in the chart. Okay? So that's how you do part 3. You just go through and fill it in. Part 4 is basically like part 2 and part 3. So it gives you the protons and neutrons, and you have to come up with these 3 things. So the atomic number would be 9, because protons and atomic number are the same. Mass number is protons plus neutrons, so 18. and the elemental symbol. So if you go through and you look and see what number 9 is on the periodic table, that's fluorine. So that's all you do for that one. Hopefully this is making sense. On part 5, you are supposed to, it gives you the electron configuration and then it wants you to figure out what element it is. So this part's pretty easy because all you have to do is add up these superscript numbers. So 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1 is, you could even write it in here, it's 11, which is sodium. That's all you do. Now for part 6, you actually have to do the electron configuration. So like for instance, lithium is number 3. I would go ahead and write like what the atomic number is, because that kind of helps you figure out what you need to add up to. And just remember, for electron configuration, you kind of have to start and you have to figure out, you know, what row you're on. And, you know, that's where it has the SPD stuff. So you either need to use your periodic table or you need to use that funny looking arrow chart. So lithium would be like 1s2, 2s1. Let's see, nitrogen is number 7. Well, let me do one that's a little bit harder. Let's see, let's do one that's like, let me do, sorry, I'm trying to figure out a good one. Wow, they're all kind of relatively simple. All right, I'll do selenium. Okay. Oh, I don't know why that erased. Okay, so if you look at selenium, selenium's number 34. Okay, so it's kind of a big one. So you start on the first row, so 1s2, go down to the second row, 2s2, and then you're still on the second row, so 2p6, that's these guys, the p elements. And then you got 3s2, 3p6, then you've got 4s2, and then here's kind of the weird thing. When you're on that row, but you're in the D block, you have to go down one number. So 3D10, and then you have to go back to the 4, and now you're in P again, 4P, and then let's see, selenium is the 4th one over, so like that. And all of these numbers right here should add up to 34. Okay, so hopefully that helps you on this. This is extra credit, so I would hope that everyone would do this. It's going to be counted as a lab, so that'll help even more because labs are 15% of your grade. So if you've missed one or if you've done poorly on one, you know, that will